Contract negotiation is a critical aspect of project execution and execution of the procurement plan. It ensures that the agreements align with the project objectives and stakeholder expectations. In this session, we'll talk about contract negotiation to ensure the mutually official terms for all of the parties, also aligning the contract terms with the project goals and stakeholder expectation, how to anticipate potential changes during the execution when, let's say, dealing with the contracts. The importance of favorable contract terms. So, favorable contract terms sets the foundation for successful partnership. That depends on and to let's say to highlight the importance of having a favorable contract terms. Here, let's talk about having a clearly defined deliverables, timelines, and responsibility. Also, to achieve that favorable contract terms, include a penalty and incentive clauses to drive the performance, and avoid ambiguous language that may lead to disputes. For example, in an IT outsourcing project, specifying the deliverables, uh, also the service level agreements, which is known as the SLAs, and penalties for downtime ensures the accountability. Ambiguities can lead to misunderstanding and can cause a dispute. So clarity here is very essential. Now let's see the steps in contract negotiation, how to negotiate. So effective contract negotiation followed follows a structured process. Preparation involves understanding the vendor strength and market rates. Discussion, you may address the key terms like the cost, scope, and timelines. And the agreement here, it finalizes the terms and document the agreement. So ensure before that you negotiate with any suppliers, do some preparation like researching the vendor capabilities and market condition and the financial conditions as well. Also, the history of the projects that were delivered successfully, and that will ensure that you are working with a reliable supplier. Managing the contract changes. So, managing contract changes ensure that modifications are handled systematically. So, ensure to use a formal change control process for contract modification and document all of the changes with mutual agreement with you and the suppliers, and assess the impact of changes on the project constraints, including the scope, the budget, quality, and resources. This is how you have to manage the contract changes. So you cannot just do any changes to the contract without having, let's say, a structured approach, such as used on the change control process, to ensure that everything is documented, everything's been agreed, and everything is being assessed. For example, here, let's take an engineering project. If the material costs increased, both parties must agree on the budget adjustment, and documenting these changes prevent dispute and ensure the alignment with the project financial goals. Let's look into the best practices when negotiating contract. Successful negotiation focuses on creating win-to-win outcomes to build long relationships or long partnerships. Also, be very clear about the priorities and non-negotiables. Maintain professionalism and foster open communication. And these are the best practices that you need to follow when negotiating a contract. So focus on win-to-win outcomes, apart from, let's say, the quality. Agree on the quality, the cost, and the project constraints, the SLAs, as I said. These are the best practices when negotiating a contract with a supplier. Here are the tools that can be used for effective negotiation. So tools like the contract management software and data analytics enhances the negotiation efficiency. Ensure to employ the data analytics for benchmarking and decision making about having a contract with a specific supplier. You may also leverage the negotiation training and simulation for team preparedness. Common challenges you might face as a project manager in contract negotiation. Contract negotiation can face different challenges such as disagreements or cost of delivery schedules or timelines, as well as unforeseen market changes that impact the terms itself, such as during the pandemic, some of these goods and materials prices has increased due the logistics changes. So ensure to consider all of these unforeseen market changes that could impact the terms and condition of your contract. Also, the final common challenge here we can discuss about is the misalignment expectation between the parties, and that's why we say that ensure that you have a clear, let's say, expectation, and also the supplier have clear expectation from you about the project constraints, the project quality, and all of these requirements where you have agreed with the stakeholders to be implemented. Let's now take a case study on a successful contract negotiation. In a scenario where software development project, a client negotiated a contract with milestone-based payments, which is tied to deliverable quality. This ensured the vendor's accountability and reduced delays. So here, the vendor were accountable for the project quality and deliverables, and being accounted also for, let's say, the delivery timelines. That has led to the project successful completion on budget and schedule and meeting the quality requirements. How to monitor the contract performance? So monitoring contract performance is essential to ensure compliance with the agreed terms. So ensure that you regularly review the vendor performance against the contract terms, whether the vendor is, let's say, implementing and delivering whatever has been agreed as per the contract. Use KPIs like the delivery timelines, quality metrics and software. For example, it can be as the defects frequency or the end user satisfaction on the deliverables or on the system itself, and cost adherence. Also address performance issues promotely through formal channels. So if the supplier has, let's say, an issues or have a performance issues, make sure that all of these communications are documented through formal methods, just to ensure the accountability of that, let's say, supplier. To summarize our session on contract negotiation with suppliers and the execution, we say that contract negotiation is a cornerstone of project success. Ensuring a clear terms and adaptability to changes ensures that you have an effective negotiation strategy to align the contract with the project goals and mitigate the risks. And managing changes ensures the flexibility without compromising the accountability. We talked also about the tools and best practices to enhance the negotiation success and partnership quality. Project managers can achieve an equitable agreements and foster strong relationships to serve the project needs and to achieve the project success.